Good morning, everyone. My name is Ryan Howe here with Small Business News on May 21st, 2024. Again, for those who don't know, this is a program where I come to you live every single day, Monday through Friday, between the hours of 8 and 9 a.m. Eastern. Does vary depending if I got client work, and I do have some today, so I had to get started a little bit earlier than normal, so I apologize for that. What I do is I come in here and I share information that I share with my clients every single day. I give you a small little taste of things that I think that would be beneficial for folks out there, basically for you all out there in the wilderness to know a little bit. And I'm a business coach working out of West Michigan, although I do have some national clients as well. You can learn more about what I do at summitbusinessguides.com. We'll check more into that later. So today we're going to take a look at a couple things here. First, the Small Business Administration. We got some numbers out as far as the number and the frequency of small dollar loans that they've been giving. Last year in August, there was a change that came through that allowed them to adjust and basically change the type of loans that they were able to back. So we're going to take a look into that and just kind of see what that looks like as well. And then also the Chamber of Commerce, yesterday they released their 2023 numbers for basically year over year, so we can have a better idea of what it looks like, the current state of business through the eyes of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. As with everything that is, the larger entities like that, it does take some time to collate, get that data, crunch it, validate it, verify it, run all the statistical analysis. So the fact that we got it by May 20th, I will take that for an annual review for sure. So with that, let's go ahead and get into it today. Our first piece we're going to be looking at is going to be from Inc.com. As always, links to the descriptions can be found in the description, so go check that out. All right, exclusive. The SBA is making smaller and riskier loans more available. Now, the agency says that changes to its small dollar loan program are helping attract more lenders to a less popular market segment. Let's see what that looks like. Small dollar lending for the Small Business Administration Signature Program is on track to have another banner year in the midst of chilled credit environment. That is 100% correct. We just know that's one of the things that we're having to deal through here. Again, higher interest rates, right? New data from the SBA suggests that the latest fiscal year is becoming a boon for small loan. Excuse me, for small loans, especially those below 150,000. The agency approved 17,550 small dollar loans within that category, worth about 1.2 billion so far during the first half of fiscal year 2024. During that same period, the year prior, the agency approved 13,000 such loans. So again, that's not an insignificant increase there. Is that about 40% uptick? Not too bad. Now, the agency says it's on track to approve the most small dollar loans before 150,000 in 7 years as a result of the agency's lending reforms. For many lenders, you see more than a doubling, sometimes a tripling of their volume of small dollar loans when you're comparing the first half of this fiscal year to the first half of last year, an SBA official tells Inc. SBA data shows that 7A small dollar loans, now defined as those below 500,000, nearly doubled, growing from 2.1 billion to 3.7 billion during the first half of the last 3 fiscal years. The agency compiled data within the first half of the fiscal year since the current fiscal year that ends at basically June 30th. The volume, let's see here, the volume of loans themselves more than doubled to 25,273 during the top half of FY24, up from, man, that is a doubling from 3 years ago, from 12,213. Why the spike? The agency attributes the growth largely to the reforms implemented last August, which includes expanding the definition of small dollar loans to include those at the $500,000 mark. Loans up to that level are able to use the Small Business Administration small loan underwriting terms, where banks have streamlined requirements. By increasing that between basically the change, loans between 350,000 to 500,000 have jumped 41% in the last fiscal year. Again, by expanding that, they simply just they streamlined the process to go get your capital. There's obviously some additional requirements with the SBA. However, what you need to bring with an SBA loan is obviously lower than what most banks will ask you as far as for matching funds. So there's goodness in that. Definitely something interesting to see. Now, companies within the construction sector saw some of the largest increases in small loan approvals, as did those working in retail, manufacturing, arts, and entertainment sectors, according to the SBA official. Loan growth is pretty consistent across the country as well. Entrepreneurs in California saw a 74% increase in small dollar lending in the past past fiscal year, while small businesses in Georgia saw a 64% boost. Maryland and Texas also saw 62 and 58%. Increasing small dollar lending has been a focus of the agency, as it's usually a sector that's overlooked by financial institutions due to the perception of higher risk and lower profit margins associated with those loans. Some Republican lawmakers have criticized the SBA for loosening its standards, arguing that early defaults are starting to pick up too. The SBA maintains that its 7A portfolio, which has an early problem rate of 2.4%, is in good health. I would be interested to know, and I don't know this number, so if you do know that number, please let me know in the comments. What actually is at what rate would they consider this to be out of good to, marginal health, when it makes that transition from, good to where it starts getting worse, what that percentage is. I don't know that off the top of my head. I think it'd be interesting to know. With a chilled credit environment, the SBA seeing an increase in lending activity among its loan is certainly a win for small businesses vying for loans. The question, of course, is if it can safely sustain that momentum. The agency says it's educating lenders about changes to its program, which may spark interest in lenders who didn't see a fit previously. So again, just something to keep in mind there. That is that is pretty significant spike in the number of basically small businesses or the small loans that they're offering out there. Again, that riskier piece, yes, there is some risk usually associated with that. However, in these times where businesses need to get access to capital, being able to go to the SBA and get that SBA secure loan is going to make it easier for them, but also open up other channels for them as well. So there's a lot of goodness with that. All right, let's get into our next piece here, which is again the final piece here, which is our small business. Our small business numbers that we have. This is from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Small Business Data Center. And see, small businesses employ nearly half of, and this was from May 20th, where they're at here. Small businesses employ nearly half of the American workforce and represent 43.5% of America's GDP. They are a critical part of our economic system where big businesses and small businesses are vendors, employees, partners, and customers to each other. Absolutely. This has always just been one of the numbers that I was just like, well, sure. Yeah, 99.9% of businesses in the US are small business, because the small business numbers that takes to be a small business, it varies. So it is what it is. We know the vast majority are small businesses there. 33.2 million small businesses in the US. And let's take a look at what this looks like. So small businesses and economic, again, obviously the Chamber of Commerce, they are using this for lobbying as well. So I understand what this is from. There's going to be a skew to this, but there's good factual data in here. So in 2000, you can just see here where basically small business, large business GDP. So the small business piece has steadily increased, but maybe not at the rate here, but where we're sitting at, again, 44% of the total GDP that we have there. Okay. So they're doing their part. Since the 90s, small businesses have accounted for between 43.5 and 50.7% of the United States gross domestic output, which equates to trillions of dollars in economic activity. In 2014, I love this one. In 2014, the most recent data available. Are you telling me we can't get more recent data than 2014 for how much how much business small businesses are generating? I find that very difficult to believe. By comparison, large businesses were 7.7 from 10 years ago. Okay. Let's take a look at the small businesses. They're big employers. 45.9% of Americans are employed by small businesses, and 61.6 million Americans are employed by a small business. The majority of small businesses, 82%, operate without employees. And those small employers, maybe say that again, because I want to gloss over that. The majority of small businesses, 82%, operate without employees. So of this 61 point, that's basically 18% of small businesses employ almost 62 million people. And those small employers who hire staff employ nearly half the American workforce. Leading industries for small businesses include professional business services, financial activities, wholesale and retail trade, boasting 3.5 to over 7 million businesses within each sector. So let's look at the by count. Small business count by size and industry. So here's basically our without employees. The blue is going to be 1 to 19 employees, and then 20 to 399 employees is going to be in our white here. So mining and quarrying, 80% are without employees, 17%. Let's see the biggest number here. So it looks like 30 here. Manufacturing. So the 30%, let's see here. Okay. So 30%, 592,554 employees are in the manufacturing, and then it's the wholesale and retail trade next. And that is again, because there's a whole bunch here. What they make up 3.5 million, and that's 23%. Next is going to be down leisure and hospitality, 2.5 million. So you can just see, again, education and health services. You can see where the split is out here. Again, as a reminder, all these articles are going to be listed in the links in the description. So come check this out yourself if you want a deeper dive into this. But you can just see where that skew is. Obviously, there's plenty of small businesses that don't have any employees. All right. The chart below illustrates how businesses contribute millions of jobs over time. For instance, all of the small businesses that employ between 10 and 19 employees collectively add more than 500,000 jobs to the U.S. economy over 10 years. And small businesses pay big. On average, small businesses pay employees 30.42 an hour, which amounts to $63,000 of income over the course of a year. All right. Small business create millions of jobs over time. Again, take a look here. So the age of the firm, number of employees. You can see how when it starts off larger, it goes through a shrinking phase, and then it expands again. This is what they're talking about. Usually smaller, and it gets larger over time. 100, you can just see where the growth occurs. And then over 500, it starts, and then it gets to a point where after basically 10 plus years, where it blows up. Again, this makes sense. As you grow and you gain market share, you're going to expand your operations. It's just part of the deal. And one of the things when you're expanding operations is making sure you have your business set up correctly. And that's exactly what I do, and I help my clients with here with my work. Again, you can learn more about what that looks like here over at summitbusinessguys.com, or you learn more what I do. Research some of the just a few of the clients that I work with every single day to help them grow their businesses faster than they ever thought possible. In between credit unions, lawn care services, I have manufacturing, legal firm, adult foster care, uh, across the board. Again, I use the Pinnacle business operating system with my clients. Learn more about what that looks like here. You can catch up on my latest YouTube video that I have out here, as well as again on the Facebook. And this is one of this is actually this link here, which is great. You go to my site and check it out. It's a advertisement for the son of one of my clients. He has a nursery that I frequent for my actually where I got a lot of my stuff from this year. So again, you want to learn more about what I do, go to summitbusinessguys.com and check it out. All right, continue on down here. We have entrepreneurship is blowing in is booming in the United States. Excuse me. Over the last few years, the number of applications filed to start businesses has surged. Application numbers doubled in 2020 compared to the previous years, and this trend has continued with over 5 million. We've talked about this before on the show. 5 million new business applications filed annually since then. As of April 2024, 1.75 million applications already been filed this year, and they've got an interactive map to basically show between the states where they're at. And obviously darker is going to be again the more again basically growth rate where you're at. And what's of interest, and this is what we're seeing this happen again, these areas where people are moving to, you're seeing the growth. But for me in Michigan here, just to click on this as an example, I was looking at this earlier, we are actually down minus 2.6% here in Michigan in my area, which is of note. But again, come back here, you can check it out, drop on any of the states you want to see there. Again, uh, link to this is going to be in the description. This was an interesting piece where they talk about the innovation, where they talk about the number of employees and basically one approved patent application. I just thought this was an interesting piece where they're showing the smaller basically patents. They're getting patents, one patent application, one approved patent application. So they're submitting on average this many, of the place they have here. I just thought that was pretty interesting. So 25,000 plus size business, they're being outdone here. And I have a feeling that's probably in the biomedical side of the house where it's just a few folks in a lab doing very, very specific work. And then they talk about diversity numbers, which are always great to see here. So women, as far as workers, 47.2%, owners, 43.3% are, yeah, women have an ownership stake. Veterans, I'm one of those. Workers, 4.6%. And there's definitely a lot of veteran ownership. Again, there's a lot of work through the Veterans Administration to help, basically to help military members and veterans transition through. I'm currently looking at, one of the things I want to do is get together a better list of grants that are available for veterans as well. So, hopefully I earn your subscription today. If you are a veteran, please do subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you can learn more about, be notified when I do get that information out. I have a friend of mine. She's deep into Warrior Rising. It's a um, organization specifically designed to help veteran entrepreneurs. Hispanics, again, workers and ownership piece, again, it's a little bit lower there. And then racial minorities, again, 26.6%, and then overall 20.4%. This piece here is one of the things that I love showing people. This has stayed pretty consistent over the years. Only 6% of businesses, they start a business basically under 34 years. The average age is 35, but it's within this band of 35 to 54 years old, you start your own business. And then 51%, 55 plus, where they start a second one, or they start their first. But either way, that's typically where it goes. You got this one, and they're going to be more comfortable starting a second. And then 41% of small business owners are foreign born, businesses with employees, and then businesses without employees. You can just see this the percentage here. Again, resilience, biggest cost, and this is the last piece I want to get into. And again, before you guys come back here and check this out, the remainder of the article out on your own here is for small businesses here, but they talk about the costs. Biggest costs for businesses, 25 to 35% is inventory. The vast majority is, again, going to be labor that they have. It's one of the reasons why I'm recommending my clients make sure that they are taking full advantage of all the software, computer advances, AI, etc., in order to find ways to help their labor be more productive. Okay, because they had such a huge amount. Biggest small businesses face, 42% of small businesses fail due to lack of market demand. The market shifts. Many small businesses are niche, and when that market demand changes, they can't keep up, and they can't pivot enough because they do have inventory or whatever that looks like, and they end up going out of business that way. And the other piece here is 38% is due to capital, lack of capital. So with that, yeah, that's really out today. Again, definitely check out the link in the description there, folks. It's an interesting bit of data that's out there. As always, links are in the description. You want to check that out. So let's go over what we covered today here. So we looked at the SBA making more basically smaller loans out there. They are technically more riskier. There's more risk attached to them. That is like not up for debate. However, they are increasing, which is going to allow more, again, by them increasing the number of smaller loans that they're giving. That's going to entice more lenders to enter into the SBA world and offer up those smaller loans. They see that business out there because loans are drying up in other areas. If this is an area they can see there might be opportunities, banks will go after that. And then lastly, we just spent some time with the Chamber of Commerce. They released the latest data out there, so we can kind of see that information as a whole. So it's definitely good to see. Mainly because I think a lot of folks misunderstand what small businesses are and what that rating is. When you hear 399 employees, people don't think small business, but that's what they're classified as. So it's just something to keep in mind there. So with that, again, my name's Ryan Howe. This has been Small Business News. Again, we come here every single day, Monday through Friday, between 8 and 9 a.m. Eastern. Again, depending with client work. I did start a little bit early today. I hope I earned your subscription today. If so, please go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you will be notified immediately when I'm coming live here, so you can hop on the chat and have a conversation with me. So with that, take care, and I will see you tomorrow.